on a simple way, a simple system of keeping records. So what do you know about records keeping? Anessa?
Usually in business, when you're doing your sale, you have to keep a record of whatever you've sold. So a simple example of a record is when you give out a receipt to your client. So giving out the receipt is proof of the product that you've sold or the service.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you give a clap to her? So we need to keep records. It's very important for us to keep records. We've seen it previously in the first lesson. And there are different ways, different methods that people use to keep records. And so as we were saying, we'll see 3 different ways of keeping our records, 3 different books. And Christine, could you name one? QuickBooks. So she usually uses QuickBooks to keep her records in. Anissa, anyone that you know? Any methods for you to keep records of your transactions? You want to try? What kind of books? We've seen receipts like one of the books that we can have records of our transactions. Invoices, we can keep, if we've got an invoice book, so we keep records of our invoices. Okay? So we'll see the 3 different books and also we've got the vouchers. Okay? So we'll see receipts, we'll talk a bit about invoices and also the vouchers. Usually, who would use an invoice? When is an invoice used? Any idea, Dominique? When do we use an invoice?
For different reasons. For example, if you requesting for sale for my product, or else if you requesting payment, then you will issue another invoice.
Okay, invoice, yes, because at times there are companies that they give you a invoice. If, for example, you are paying on credit, so you use an invoice for you to know that I owe this company. So they will send, let's say I am buying from STC. So STC will produce an invoice for me, so that I know that I need to pay them some credit. Okay, and then at times also it could be that they give you a receipt. They will give you a cash invoice. For example, you are paying, they do not have the receipt, but they can issue you with a cash invoice, saying that you have paid for the items. Okay? We will also see, we will also demonstrate the different use of simple book of keeping records. So we'll see the different tools that are used. Okay? Very simple transactions, not big transactions. Okay? So when we talk about cash transactions, we refer to what? Okay. Cash transactions, we refer to what? Money, yes. What kind of money? We've got money through a check, we've got money elsewhere. So we are talking about cash payments. Okay? So I'm buying this bottle and I need to pay with cash. Okay? So we are talking about cash transactions because daily we are mostly doing some cash transactions in the business. Okay? So then creating and collecting vouchers. So as the slide says, so we write a receipt when you receive money. Vanessa mentioned it previously. So we ask for a receipt. We can ask for a receipt when we have purchased something, or an invoice when you make a payment. Okay? So we also make a voucher for ourselves in other cases. Listen, do you keep vouchers? For example, you have done a transaction. Do you keep your record through vouchers? To keep note of what you're doing? Okay? So now you will learn how to do this simple transactions, through simple transactions. Okay? Alright, so managing your vouchers, okay? So we'll keep all the vouchers in a safe place. It's very important. Whatever you use in your business, and most businesses, you can do whatever the transaction you do. So you need to keep record. Anyone know how long you could keep your records? That is required by law. How long do you think? 7 years, 6 years, okay? Mostly they would say 5 years, but there are others that will keep longer records, depending on the legal issues that are attached to the business, okay? So, as I've said, we keep the vouchers in a safe place, whatever the vouchers you've written, okay? For example, if today I'm doing a sales in the cafe and I've done transaction, for example, paying for something or having something on credit, I can still write like a voucher and keep it in my file for record keeping, for me to know what are the transactions, and then I can transfer it in other books of entry, okay? Then you file, also you need to file your different vouchers, but you file it in consecutive number order. Okay? It's very important because all vouchers need to have a number, the date, the number on it, and the transactions that you've done. Now, if you look at the retailer and wholesaler's receipt, okay? Somebody who have entered all those transactions of a day, okay? So they would have the day at the top, then they'll have the different items that have been transacted, and the amount that have been sold, the net price, if there does any VAT on it, and also the amount that is recorded as being the total, okay? So for example, we've got milk, so somebody have sold milk, and it says the quantity that have sold is 5. So the net price per one pack of milk, let's say, one packet of milk, was $10, and then if there was VAT on it, $5 for the VAT, and then that have been entered into the transaction, okay, into the sales book. Okay, so likewise for other products. So at the end of the day, you can see clearly how things are. Okay. We've got other record transactions for basic record keeping. The basic record that you could keep, okay? So that is an example of how to keep the record. So we've got the date, so the different dates that things have been entered. We've got the details. This is bring forward, so what you had from, let's say, previous day or previous month, and then you've got somebody have got timber, so then the voucher number. And if you can see, we've got the voucher numbers follow, which is consecutive numbers, okay? So 340, 341, 342, so it goes down, right? Then we've got the cash in, so in cash, for example, you've got, let's say, for that day, they were doing the transaction in cash. So for the 280, so minus, so they are left with $100, okay? So then it goes down to the next. So then they got sale, and sale, it's money coming in. So we've got 98. So when you add 98 plus the 100, it's 198. Okay. Then you go down again. There was another sale, and they entered it as 340. So total, you are getting 538. Then they got other things, for example, garnish. So this is decreasing the amount, goes down to garnish, and we see that there's a decrease because they are paying cash, so 210, and the total that is left is 328, okay? And so finally, so they've got the sale, so that the final sale then it is 328 as being the total that is left, okay? Now, if you look on the other side, this was about the cash transactions, okay? We started with 380, so they ended with 328 because there had been transaction coming in and transaction going out. Now we've got for the bank, okay? On the other side, so we've got money coming in, okay? So we've got money coming in, going to the bank. So they deposited $2,400. Okay. So the balance up there was 2,570. So when this is added up, then it gives us a total of 4,970. Okay. So there are other things. We've got sales. We've got the materials that have been cost. If then there was any labor cost I need to pay any overheads, okay, or the expenses that the business might have occurred. Okay, don't keep it for later, because otherwise you don't know what will happen tomorrow or the day after. So it's very important that you will keep every single day. Okay, when you keep your records, you need to keep it for over a year. For you, at the end of the year, then you will compile it and you will satisfy, for example, the taxation, because they will need to ask you, because when you are in business, they will need to know if you are making money or if you are not making that much of money, because you will need to pay for taxes. Okay, and one way for you to know if you are liable to pay tax is only by the record that you have kept. Then you will know when you have added your sales, everything, your expenses, then you will know how much tax you need to pay. And if you don't keep it, then it's very difficult. Okay. One thing also that I've noticed that people need to be mindful of, at times you get receipts from the shop, you bought something, you get some receipt, and it fades away. So even though you would have to keep it, you could have kept it in your file. Let's say you've got a file where you have kept all your receipts or whatever you have purchased or whatever invoices, but it depends on the, because I don't know if at times it is the toner that they've used and it fades away. So one way of keeping your records right, you need to photocopy it or you scan it, you put it in your, you keep it an electronic copy. Okay, so this is a very good way for you to keep it. Yes, you can do both if you've got the time, but if not, then at least you've got a way or another that you can, because for example, I've seen over the years that, like I've said, there are records that you need to keep for about 5 years or even more. But if then you are asked, there's something that happens, then you need to give an answer about it. People is asking for something, or something have happened, and then they need to, there's a legal issue, they need to find the figures. So you want to have the, okay?
So for the basic record keeping, with software, or you will use actual?
For the basic record keeping, you can have a book, and then there are books that have already been prepared with all those tables in it, but there are certain people that do their own. Some people, they design it from the Word or from Excel. It's better if you could do it in Excel, because in Excel it will help you to to calculate it, because you can use a formula and it will help you to keep records. Whereas there are other people that will use software such as QuickBooks. Okay, so you need to be trained how to use it. It's not that difficult. You can be trained. There are different courses that you can apply. There are even places on the internet you can get access whereby they show you a demonstration how to keep your records. But to get the software itself, it costs a bit. So you need to pay for that software for you to have the original version, and then you can keep records of everything that happens, your transactions, okay? But still, as I've said, it's best for you to have your copy also, the original copy, and the original copy you can scan it or photocopy it and then keep it in your files, okay? Any other questions? From what we've learned today in the record cash transaction, anything that maybe was new to you that you did not know previously? Are you used to doing the records, those not the way you have been shown, but maybe
not in this format, maybe.
Not in that format, yes. Okay, because there are different ways and means. This is very, very basic. You just enter the transaction. It does take a little while for you to do it. It's not something that, because at times you might be very busy with your customers, so you don't have time to record one by one. But if you've got the receipts. Then you sit down at the end of the day, then you compile it, and then.
So what about other modes of transactions? This is for cash only?
No, on this side, as you can see, on this side it's for cash, and on this side it's for bank, because we've got either bank or cash.
So that means checks will fall into the...
Yes, the checks will go, for example, if you are placing it, because you need to put it to the bank for it to be cash, no? Yes. So then you can enter, if somebody has given you a check, at times also you'll get, there are different books that you can use. At times you even can put the number, the check number. Okay, so you've got the date, the check number, which bank it comes from, so you need to record these things also.
And how do you map it to your actual record?
Sorry?
How do you map it to your actual
For QuickBook, in QuickBook we've got at the end of the day, you can do it daily if you want, or you can do it monthly, whereby you can take a report, because you can ask for daily reports, you can ask it automatically. You just go to record, to reports, and then you say what type of reports you want. If it's a daily report, what all the transactions that have happened over the day, or all the transactions that have happened over the month, or all the transactions that have happened over the year, when you go to do your tax return.
So, bank transfer will fall under bank.
Yes, because if then you've got a transfer that you've done to the bank, so if you are recording the transaction, then it will come in the bank. Because you are recording that you've done a transfer to your bank, so it will be recorded in the bank.
And what about the tax return?
Okay, so the tax return.
There's a VAT, I think there's a VAT on the...
For the VAT, this is the VAT that will be on actual, for example, you buy, let's say you buy a laptop. So you've got the price being 5,000 rupees, but then you've got the VAT also that goes in, let's say it was about 500 rupees for VAT. Okay, so the VAT, this will be directly with your price, but then you've got also tax that will come at the end of the year, as I've said, when you do your tax return. So this will, it will depend on the amount, the amount of money you've done for a year. And then there will be a percentage that you will need to pay. Okay, so it will say like 1.5 tax that you will need to pay, or if you say 15%, but usually the tax that will come with the receipt will be like 15%. Okay, so that will be it for our session. Thank you very much for joining in, and I hope to see you in the next session. Thank you.